Hello everyone, it's Laffy Traffy. Happy New Year! This is Christmas Beppo is gone, now this is Happy New Year Beppo. He'll be here for probably a single episode. But for the new year, I will be diving back in time to the entire year in review of all the One Piece manga chapters that we've got. We started off the year with chapter 1000, a huge milestone for the series, and a lot happened in chapter 1000 and onwards, so we're gonna go through every single one just so we can relive the beautiful story that was told this year. If you're new to the channel, well, feel free to subscribe, because this is the end of the year. I achieved my 1000 subscriber milestone in 1 year, so, you know, the next year, I've got big plans for the new year, and I hope to share it with you all, so make sure you subscribe. But now, without further ado, let's get into it. So, chapter 1000. We started off 2021 with a Yamato and Ace flashback talking about Luffy's dream. But not just any dream, his ambiguous dream that he shares with Roger that goes a bit deeper than just King of the Pirates. The infamous roof piece begins as Zoro, Luffy, Law, Killer, and Kid all make it to the rooftop and face off against Big Mom and Kaido. Luffy saves Kinemon, and the chapter ends with Kaido being pounded down to the ground by a red rock. Chapter 1001 gives us a look into just how high Luffy's ceiling may go as the epic, intense clash begins. Mixed in, of course, with the silly faces of our three Captain Supernova in typical One Piece fashion. Chapter 1002 showcases some heavy hits from all competitors, but most notably, Killer's Sonic Scythe and Zoro's Flame Slice. Kaido and Big Mom are hitting back just as hard with Destructive Wind Blades and Heavenly Dominion Tenjin's Wrath, respectively. They better watch out for Odin's Spirit wielded by Zoro, though. Kaido and Zoro compare Dragon Twister sizes in chapter 1003 as we move from the rooftop and onto the CP Aegis Zero's game of Go that controls the numbers of fighters in this battle. It's crazy. The board says it is a 27-to-5 ratio favoring Kaido's army. Speaking of Kaido, back up to the rooftop, his hybrid form is silhouetted as he states that the fight is starting to get fun. By the way, Beppo is in this chapter. Can we have a Beppo counter, please? Tama and Speed enlist the help of Gazelle Man, Daifugo, and other gifters to turn the tides of this battle of numbers. We then get some sneak peeks into Frankie versus Sasaki, Nami and Usopp versus Ulti and Page 1, and Sanji versus Black Maria. The wounded scabbards are then revealed to be receiving help from Eneru. Chapter 1005 focuses on Black Maria and Sanji, as Sanji relents as he cannot fight her and calls out for Robin. Robin makes her entrance alongside Brook, feeling needed and depended on. Also, Beppo is in this chapter. That's 2. Yamato in chapter 1006 makes a run for it with Shinobu as Momo is hiding in her kimono. Old Man Hyo and Drake defend the main hall from all of the ice onis that are spreading fast, and Chopper hurries to find a cure. Marco steps in and helps as he fights off King and Queen. Also, Perospero defeats Wanda and Carrot, but we don't care about him. Queen really shows his true colors in chapter 1007 as he attacks his own men without a care. Old Man Hyo is at the brink of death, being consumed by the Ice Oni virus, before Chopper finally creates the cure and saves everyone with his Chopper Phage nebulizer. It's a nebulizer. Chopper finishes this chapter off by bitch-slapping Queen for calling him a tanuki. But wait, there's more! Odin is revealed to be alive! But it's a little sketchy, because in chapter 1008, he is revealed to be a drawing. Ashura Doji sees through the facade even as all the scabbards wish it to be true. Fake Odin tries to set off some fireworks as Ashura sacrifices himself to stop it. Meanwhile, Kanjuro is somewhere hunting Momo, and also Orochi's alive. Again. Jack shows up and Inuarashi steps up to fight him. Finally, Kaido's hybrid form is revealed as he threatens Luffy with hell. Too bad, Luffy's already been there and back several times. Literally and figuratively. Chapter 1009 then opens up with the scabbards coming face to face with Orochi and Fukurokuju. They slice almost all of Orochi's head and leave Raizo to fight against Fukurokuju. Little did we all know that this fight will be the most anticipated fight of 2021. Now back to the rooftop, Zoro has one of his best moments here as he blocks 2 power attacks, a combined power attack from 2 Yonko. Kaido isn't all that tough though, because he starts having to dodge Luffy's attacks here, and Big Mom is overwhelmed by a rock in a box as she is blown off Onigashima. Kid and Killer jump at the chance to fight against Big Mom in chapter 1010 as Law and Zoro face off against Kaido. Once again, with the Zoro hype, Zoro unleashes a long-anticipated 9-sword style Ashura attack laced with Conqueror's Haki. Now, anime fans, this is old news, so last year, boring by this point, but manga fans, it's very, very rewarding to see Zoro finally showcase the ability of a conqueror. We all knew he had it in him. Picking up where his first mate left off, Luffy learns to coat his attacks with Conqueror's Haki as well, and we see a huge leap in power with Luffy as he pummels Kaido, and they do the no-touchy thing. That's what it's called. Hera makes her debut in chapter 1011. Luffy continues the intense fight with Kaido as Law takes an injured Zoro down below. Hawkins intercepts Kid and Killer as Killer takes him on so that Kid can continue towards Big Mom. Big Mom then intercepts a fight between Nami and Usopp versus Page 1, where Tama convinces Big Mom, or Olin, to one-shot Page 1. In chapter 1012, Nekomamushi breaks off from the Scabbards to seek out Perospero, and we see Sanji carrying a heavily bandaged Zoro left in his care by Law. Ulti takes her revenge of Pei-Pei's demise out on a dog before she gets electrocuted for slapping Tama. Chapter 1013 showcases Nami's strength and bravery as she stands up against Ulti for Tama, but Ulti goes down after an attack from Nami and Big Mom. We all get the feels for water vapor as Zeus is replaced by Hera, he defends Nami, he's attacked by Big Mom, and then's eaten by Hera. Captain Kidd shows up and Punk Gibson's Big Mom to the floor, saving the Straw Hats from a battle with her. The chapter ends with the cliffhanger that Luffy has been defeated by Kaido and is falling off the island. Momo continues reading Odin's journal in chapter 1014 and discovers some big plans that he'll be involved in and that he can't die. He then gets a migraine. Chopper improves his monster point with the help of Caesar, and he continues his fight against Queen. The whole castle gets an update that Luffy and the Scabbards were defeated by Kaido, but the Straw Hats are not so easily swayed, having immense faith in their captain. Sketchy Odin appears in front of Kinemon, Kiku, Shinobu, and Momo, pierces Kiku, and gets slashed by Kinemon in an emotional battle. Then Kaido busts in like the Kool-Aid Man. Chapter 1015 has the battle in the main hall heating up as the fight against Queen and now also Perospero continues. Sanji cuts into Chopper's dance and kicks him Beyblade style, Queen that is, not Chopper, into Perospero. 2 bitches, 1 kick. He also kicks Zoro to Chopper for healing. It's then shown that Kaido has cleaned up fairly well, although Shinobu escapes with Momo. Kinemon's final actions are to delay Kaido even a moment before Kaido slices him through the middle. And Kinemon is defeated. Never to get up again. Never again. He's done. Kinemon's gone. He's out. Persevering with the immense pressure of what happened before him and the desperation to tell everyone what he knows, Momo announces to the entire castle that Luffy is not defeated, he will get back up, and he will beat Kaido. Zeus is alive too. He accidentally animated Nami's wand. The climate attacked. God, what were you thinking? And then Law steps in with Kid to go up against Big Mom, and then Yamato steps up to go up against Kaido. Chapter 1016 shows a little flower fire festival capital action before continuing on with the fights. The Go board now demands the ratio be 20-7, ever decreasing the distance between the two forces' numbers. Did anyone wonder if Mr. CP0 guy just is really bad at Go and maybe he shouldn't play? And that's why Kaido's forces are dwindling because, the Go board dictates all. Just a theory. Ulti is back up, this time taking her revenge out on a child. Nami showcases her improved weapon with Zeus as she and Usopp take Ulti out for good. Probably. The Straw Hat fights continue in chapter 1017 as Luffy is saved by the Polar Tang. Tama unleashes her orders for the gifters to fight against Kaido, and Chopper becomes Benjamin Button, then heals Zoro with furry cocaine with the help of the minks. We highlight Jinbei versus Who's Who as some deep lore is revealed about Who's Who, the CP0, and the Gum Gum Fruit. Chapter 1018 shows the CP0 man is at it again with his game of Go, not doing so well. The ratio is now 16-9. He needs to get good, but I'm not complaining because the Alliance is winning because he's bad at Go. That's the only reason. It's revealed by Who's Who that Shanks stole the fruit from the world government and that the fishmen worshipped a deity named sun god Nika. Now, it was neither confirmed nor denied by Jinbei, but Jinbei did make it clear that slander and discriminatory notions towards fishmen are no longer acceptable, and he defeats Who's Who with a gargoyle tile fist. Luffy awakens with meat on the mind, bitches, right? In chapter 1019. And now we spotlight Frankie versus Sasaki's fight as Sasaki becomes a triceracopter. General Frankie goes all out with some swordplay, beams, and launchers, but it all comes to an end with a beautiful radical beam, defeating Sasaki. Yamato's hybrid form for her devil fruit is revealed as she continues her onslaught against Kaido, keeping him busy until Luffy arrives. Chapter 1020 names Yamato's devil fruit as the mythical dog fruit model Makami. We switch over then to Robin's fight against Black Maria as she tries to trick her and Brook with some dirty, low blow hallucinations. They see through it though, and Brook defeats the minions as Robin fights Black Maria giant style. On the shores of Wano, Luffy eats a lot of meat and demands Momo turn into a dragon to get him back onto the flying island. Chapter 1021 is interesting, as a large Robin and Black Maria go into a brutal hand-to-hand combat. We get an amazing Robin flashback as it's revealed that she learned a lot about Fishman Karate and other attacks while working alongside Koala and Sabo. Speaking of Robin and Koala, go check out my top 10 best girls if you haven't yet. Yeah, spoilers. She uses Fishman Karate to control the battlefield against Black Maria and then grows into Demonio Fleur to wrestle Black Maria into submission. Luffy eats a lot of meat again, gifted by Swampy Boy Caribou, as Momo expresses the urge to no longer sit at the kids' table. With Black Maria, Sasaki, and Who's Who defeated, Chapter 1022 continues some fights between Raizo and Earlobe Ninja, and Killer and Hawkins. Killer, however, learns the hard way that you should never fall for the straw man argument, and instead hurts his own captain, thanks to Hawkins' abilities. Marco puts on a grand show against both King and Queen, but he presents the true stars of the show here, Zoro and Sanji. Chapter 1022 elaborates a bit on King's race on top of the red line thanks to Marco before Izo shows up and saves him. King's race is revealed to be Lunarian. Sanji and Zoro go hard here in a semi-collaborative battle with King and Queen. Zoro is then compared to Ryuma and Ushimaru, to notorious Shimasuki clan members in Wano. Inarashi goes Sulong form in his fight against Jack, and then Nekomamushi goes Sulong form against Perospero. Momo then also goes Sulong, which just so happens to look like his adult dragon form, which also just so happens to look like Kaido. Usopp gets Conqueror's Haki in Chapter 1024. Flames and fights are taking over the main hall, and Yamato and Kaido are still going strong. They shoot Kanabo arrows at each other before we dive into a Yamato childhood flashback. We see how she was treated by Kaido for admiring Odin. She was sentenced to be alone and killed by Odin's samurai as Kaido mic drops about impersonating celebrities. Luckily, the samurai consist of Zoro's dad, nobody important, and his fellow daimyos of Wano, who are kind people and give Yamato hope and food for the future. Also, Beppo's in this chapter. In Chapter 1025, Momo is afraid of heights and Luffy can't drive dragons. Yamato reveals some neat devil fruit abilities. Yamato's perseverance is admirable as she spent her whole life alone and being told that she has no one who stands by her, but she held on to Ushimaru's message, the other daimyos, and Ace, all people who told her that she did have something to believe in. Luffy now finally re-enters the battle in the most epic way that he could possibly re-enter a battle while riding a dragon, as he and Yamato deliver a righteous, collaborative punch to Kaido. And then the raid becomes Will of D&Dragons. D&D. My favorite tabletop game. That wasn't a good one. D&Dragons. Devils and Dragons. Dawn and Dragons. Dragons and Dragons. Dragon D's. The Fire Festival is shown continuing in chapter 1026 with Onigashima looming in the background. We come full circle as Luffy smashes a gum elephant gun to Kaido's head, just like he did in the beginning, and Momo sucks up his PTSD to fight back against Kaido as well. Then it becomes cloudy. Luffy's voice is heard throughout Onigashima that he is back and will defeat Kaido. Then he and Kaido split the ever-loving sky. Then it's not cloudy. The Sulong form fights continue as Nekomamushi and Inuarashi defeat their opponents. Yamato teaches Momo how to dragon in chapter 1027, and they leave the battle to try and stop the flying island from flying. But not entirely, because then it'll fall and explode anyway. It's a delicate situation they have on their hands. King's hybrid form is terrifying as ever as we get the start of real Zoro versus King. Zoro knocks off some of King's helmet, and we get the first glimpse of some fine forehead here. In chapter 1028, CP0 Man plays a continuously losing game of Go as the ratio is now 12-8, barely holding an advantage over his opponent. I don't know why he's trying. But he has more important business as he gets a call from Lucci that fleets of the marine and government ships are heading towards Wano to clean up the mess of whoever wins the big battle, specifically stating that Nico Robin must be captured. Lucci's a little salty. Yamato then leaves Momo to go disable the powder kegs in the basement of Onigashima to try and minimize the damage if something did go wrong, and we see her full Makami form. Sanji's fight with Queen is officially started, as well as our newfound knowledge of One Piece dinosaur abilities increase once more. Here, Sanji is revealed that he has hardened exterior shell skin derived from his Germa lineage. Sanji has a panic attack in chapter 1029 and tries desperately to deny any connection that he has with his brothers, while Queen is fanboying over the opportunity. Kid isn't looking too good thanks to Hawkins' abilities, and Law is counter-shocking and attacking Big Mom to keep her busy, while Killer and Hawkins comes to a conclusion as Killer cuts Hawkins' arm off. Killer uses his sonic scythe blades to cut some wheat as he defeats Hawkins and allows Kid to go wild. Apu propositions Drake with an alliance in chapter 1030 that Drake probs shouldn't accept. Then nothing happens with Kinemon whatsoever. And then Usopp goes to help the defeated Scabbards as conjures the tangible representation of his hatred against the Kazuki clan. Kid and Law reveal their amazing Devil Fruit awakenings as Kid can make other things magnetic, while Law can probably affect the soul itself. Check out my Law video if you have any questions. Beppo is in the color spread of chapter 1031, so this counts. Add another one. Big Mom is pretty pissed for becoming a magnet and becomes Bigger Mom. Drake, rightfully so, declines Apu's offer and fights him. Yamato has some connection to Fuga, one of the numbers, as Fuga chases her and follows her into the basement where Orochi is. Sanji is seemingly losing control of his emotions at this point and possibly hit a woman? He blames the reason for his reversed eyebrows on his raid suit, and so he smashes it to the ground, completely destroying it, much to Queen's disappointment. Still worried about his emotions underneath it all, he phones in a favor from Zoro to make sure that he doesn't get out of hand, as they both continue their fights against Kaido's commanders. In chapter 1032, Drake and Apu continue fighting, but then CP0 shows up chasing Robin and Brook, and so Drake and Apu fight CP0. Another dinosaur lesson leads us to Zoro versus King's fight as Zoro tries to figure out a way to defeat King and his wildfire. He also needs to find out a way to rein in Enma and make it behave as it starts to drain his haki. This chapter ends with Orochi in the basement coming across a beautiful Komurasaki. luring him in. Chapter 1033 reveals more information about King's race by Queen, as Zoro struggles with controlling Enma and defending against King's attacks. An intense fight continues as King is seemingly immune to all damage, but Zoro starts to think back to his childhood and remembers a totally not important old man from Shimasuki Village who told him about swords and swordsmiths. Zoro unlocks the secret of Enma, making the connection, and fully realizes her potential. Swapping over to Sanji and Queen's fight in chapter 1034, Queen shows his Germa-inspired abilities, including Sanji's own raid suit ability of invisibility. Sanji counters with his super speed, super strength, and super durability. Chuji also reveals that Sanji did not hit that woman. He did not. As his final hit against Queen for hitting the woman and reminding him all about his family, Sanji defeats Queen with a powerful and intensified, a superheated Diable Jamba, lightning coming off of it and everything. Chapter 135 opens with Sanji passing out from the fight and switching over to Zoro. Zoro has cut King with his Conqueror's Haki-empowered Enma attack, and King's face is revealed and, oh no, he's hot! The ambitions of the right-hand men of two powerful Yonko clash, but Zoro manages to find out what the secret to King's race and abilities are and deals the final blow. A giant flame dragon that is inspired by Kaido is summoned by King, in which Zoro quickly slashes through and cuts straight to King himself, cutting off his right wing. And we finally end the year of 2021 with chapter 1036. King and Zoro compare flashbacks, seeing who's really the best first mate, but Zoro does win because he becomes the king of hell. Yamato is aided by Fuga to get into the basement, Usopp is defending Keen and Kiku, Izo has a badass entrance to help Usopp, Raizo and Fukurokuju have literally not moved since we saw them last. I mean literally, they're doing the jutsu thing, they haven't moved, they're frozen. And Drake was defeated by the CP0. The final chapter ends as we get a glimpse into the battle with Luffy and Kaido. Luffy and Kaido, two emperors, are having a lot of fun as the battle becomes much more fierce. And as it should be, we end with a Beppo chapter. And that wraps up the One Piece manga of 2021 in review. 37 chapters covering many amazing fights, character development moments, power-ups, and lore drops. I've had a great time in my 1 year of YouTube, and next year will hopefully hold even bigger things. So again, make sure you subscribe and like the video if you enjoyed this year in review. And until then, have a great day, follow your dreams, and check me next year. Bye!